Hello everyone, and welcome to the first video in a while with actual commentary. For the past probably over a month, I've just been uploading short videos without any talking or commentary. I haven't been busy, I haven't been doing anything, I just really haven't had any sort of dedication or reason to upload a video with commentary or with really any sort of substance, so I just want to show off my quick, simple, vanilla TARDIS. I've seen a lot of TARDISes on YouTube. There's a lot of TARDISes that are both simple or complex, like Aviatrax, Commander Moose. Those people are 1,000 more times more talented than I will ever be. They're really exceptional builders and, I guess, command block engineers, whatever you'd call it. They know more than I will ever know. They know more than I care to know. This is just the simplest sort of way I could build one. I just wanted a quicker way to get around in my world. So this is the first TARDIS I built. It's sort of like a simple prototype version. So going in, you can see it's pretty small inside. Not a lot, just basic amenities for living in. There are two rooms, basically, the control room and the chameleon circuit room, and I will explain those later. So going below deck, there are basically three sections to the command blocks. There's the key commands, there's the time set commands, and then there's the destination commands. So there are I think four command blocks in each destination. The first command block to register whether the button on the console is pressed, and if it registers as true, it'll send the signal to the first command block, which basically clears the outside. So that's the first stage of dematerialization. The outside disappears. Then the teleport command. It teleports the armor stand that you've labeled whatever your TARDIS is called, and then it refills the outside. The key command is pretty simple. This block is every time someone puts the key in their offhand, it registers and sends the signal to teleport the nearest player to the armor stand to the location. And I also have the play sound command, so it makes a sound every time you enter. The time set controls, instead of having just one command block to do all of it, I've split them into two. That way, when you set time, the day will still move and progress. If you just have it as one of these command blocks, then it will continuously reset. It's basically like turning off the daylight cycle. This way, if it registers this repeater as being set to one of these, it will send the signal and it'll do the time set command. So I've just got one for every time set, and then that's basically it for all the redstone, or for all the commands. Going in this room, this is the chameleon circuit room. This is where you change what the outside looks like. Right now I've got it sort of set up as a quartz pillar, but you can pretty much do any outside, keeping within the 1x3 high area that I have set up, as long as you don't include any entities. So item frames and I think like minecarts and boats and armor stands, they won't work. So it's blocks only, no entities, because I'm using the clone command. The way I have it set up, there's two areas that it's cloning. This area, which is air, and this area, which is the design. When you take off, first it clones this area here, to delete the outside. Then it clones this one after the armor stand is moved. So this was the first step, basically just the prototype to make sure whatever I was doing worked. Then I built the second one. I finished this one last night. It took me about 3 hours to finish room building and all. So, like I said, very simple, very easy. So this one I've got disguised as a lamppost. Like I said, I'm in my city, so going over here, you can see the whole town is full of these redstone lamp designs. So if you're in a multiplayer server, you can make it as like whatever you have in your little community. And if you don't have the armor stand displaying as the name tag, because you can name an armor stand without the name tag showing up, you could like disguise it and people would walk past it and not even know it was there. So it's very multiplayer friendly. You can also allow players into your TARDIS by giving them one of these TARDIS keys. So if you don't want someone in, you don't need to let them in. The only stipulation is that you have to be closer than them. So if you want someone inside your TARDIS, but you just don't want to give them the key, you'd make them stand closer to it. You back up, and then you go. I think this will work at pretty much any distance. So if you want someone in your TARDIS, you can get them in. This is the main console room here. Like as I said, the other one was just a prototype, so I made it very small. This one is a lot bigger, a lot more space. I can do a lot more. It's based off the 8th Doctor design. I'm a big fan of that TARDIS console room. I've also got floors, or lights on the floor, like the 13th Doctor TARDIS. But I really like the 8th Doctor TARDIS just because it has this chair. I really like this chair. And jelly babies. A lot of jelly babies. Basically, you want a big console because the bigger the console, the more place for buttons for destinations you have. If you have a small console and you can't fit any buttons on it, you're not going to be able to go anywhere. So basically, the way I have it set up is there's 2 extra buttons, the time control button, and the button, if you have a player you play with regularly, you can have a button to teleport to them, and when you pull it, it'll teleport to their location. The rest of the buttons are all preset destinations, so if you've got places you travel to often, like your house, or a different town, or something else, it's a lot easier to get to them, which is pretty much the main reason I built this, because I got tired of walking. I've got particle effects all around. You can decorate this any way you want. You can have a big console room. You can have a small console room. Really, you don't even have to make a console. You can just make a bunch of buttons on the floor, and as long as it's registering the button presses, it really doesn't matter. You can make it a wall with buttons on it, and it'll work just the same. So you could even Peter Cushing it and just have a bunch of buttons everywhere that do different stuff. You can have as many rooms as you want here, but you can only have your command blocks. I try to keep them as close together as possible. That way, when you force load them, they'll always be active. Anywhere there's command blocks, or anywhere you need to teleport to, you have to add them to the force load list. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. So that's the main issue with this TARDIS design, is it can't go anywhere outside of the area that you have saved, because it's not going to load. But the person that you're teleporting to, wherever they are, they'll always be registering those blocks. Those chunks will always be loaded where they are, so you don't need to force load near them. So the chameleon circuit room, I made this one a lot bigger just so I could save more designs on the walls. So there's stuff like bushes and logs and signs and lamps and lecterns and barrels and bookshelves and pointed dripstone, amethyst crystal, blue ice, and I have a police box design saved. These 2 main ones are the pillars. I like to have them as a basalt pillar or a quartz pillar like the other one you saw. This is where you change it. Like I said before, it has to be a 1 block by 1 block with 3 high space. That's pretty much as small as you can get it to work, I guess, convincingly. You could have it maximum 2 height, you could have even 1 block, or no blocks if you want your TARDIS to be invisible. But too big, and it just sort of, it gets in the way, and if you land next to something or inside of something, when you take off, it's going to take a chunk out. I don't really know how to not do that, so that's the best I can do. Like I said, 2 areas that it's cloning. So it clones the air when you take off, and when you land, after you land, it refills it with whatever design you have. So if you change this, you have to land somewhere. You can land in the same place, or you can take off and go somewhere else to update the outside. And that's basically it. Like I said, very simple, not nearly as complex as those other TARDISes you've seen. Like I said, Aviatrax, Commander Moose, huge inspirations. I will never be on their level. So this is the best I can do, and easiest I can do it. So, like I said before, I will be leaving the videos I've watched to get inspiration and to get help from in the description. There's one video. This is my own sort of design here. I think this is probably the best solution I could come up to the problem, which was the person I watched, which basically teaches you how to do these key commands. They use a summon falling block command, because I believe they're in 1.16.4, and I don't know if it's the version of Minecraft I'm playing in, if it's the Optifine or the shader pack I'm using, but that just doesn't work. It's sort of like constantly going invisible and then visible, and it doesn't work. So this was my solution. Obviously it's more dangerous, because if you land in a block, when you take off, it's going to delete those blocks. But it's the best I could think of. And I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found this video useful. If you didn't, you don't have to leave a like. Honestly, I really don't care. But if this helped you, I'm glad, because when I was making this TARDIS, there was a lot of trial and error, because either the command blocks that other people were using was too complex, or it didn't work, and so this was the best workaround I have. So if you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like. Feel free to leave a mean or a nice comment, and thanks for watching.